Okay, so this is the Save My Marriage series, and this part is about getting to the heart of the problem. It is likely that there's a lot about what's going wrong in your relationship that you haven't really understood yet, because marriage breakdowns or marriage problems are really complex, and they tend to emerge out of the parts of ourselves that are the most unconscious, the most confused. The things that we're the most in the dark about are what kind of catalyzes the problems that we have in our relationships. And so if the two of you are, trying to, understand and dissect what's happening in your relationship, it really can literally be like the blind leading the blind, because you're in the dark around a lot of the deep habits and emotional kind of issues in the context of what's happening in your relationship. It's very important that you closely examine what is going wrong, because it's what tends to happen is that people come up with a kind of umbrella statement or an umbrella understanding, such as, well, I've just fallen out of love. Okay? And then there's like, well, what can you do about that? That's so kind of mystical. It's like, what could I do about that? That's something I don't have any power to control. But it's a very abstract idea, and it's a very broad statement. And what has happened to make somebody feel that way is that there have been a lot of dynamics that have not been handled well between the two of you. So our marriages are going to challenge us. That's inevitable. The question is, how do you what do you do in the face of these challenges? How do you respond to these challenges? And how do you work together to overcome the barriers to a successful marriage? One of the first things that you can do is you can ask yourself what your understanding is of where things have gone wrong, and also what your partner's understanding of that is. And if they're not talking to you about it, then at least to ask yourself what you understand about what your partner is feeling and experiencing, and where it's gone wrong for them. Every long-term relationship is going to involve overcoming some emotional hurdles, overcoming some real barriers to the longevity of that relationship. And it is up to the two of you to be willing to go through some of the more difficult times and have an openness and I guess a courage to face those things together as a couple. And that definitely can necessitate having somebody help you to do that. And that's quite normal. And it would be surprising, really, if you never needed that kind of help. And I think that's one of the things that maybe isn't as acknowledged as it should be, is that a long-term relationship is not something that just comes automatically, and you don't necessarily have the skills and the knowledge that's required to navigate successfully through the difficulties.